As a print-on-demand seller, there are literally thousands of different ways that you can make money in this business. Now, with so many options out there, there are definitely some ways that are a lot better than others. And it really breaks my heart when I see new print-on-demand sellers trying strategies that simply just do not work, are really outdated, or flat out just go against the policies of the sites that they're trying to sell on. So in today's video, I'm actually going to share with you 7 of the biggest mistakes that I see a ton of new sellers making that are really keeping them from growing a business that is going to provide them income year after year. Now, I have a number of years of experience growing a successful print-on-demand business, so I definitely know what things to avoid. Many of these mistakes, I firsthand know that they simply don't work and are really going to hold you back. So keep on watching if you want some really good tips for actually doing what is going to make you be able to build a profitable and sustainable business. Now, let's not waste any time and just jump right into it. Now, one of the first biggest mistakes that is really going to set your business off in the wrong direction if you are doing this is not sourcing low price items to sell. Now, I definitely think you should be choosing a manufacturing partner that has really good quality to integrate with your Etsy shop or wherever else you are selling print-on-demand items. However, you really need to be careful about choosing a partner that has low priced items so that you can price competitively on a site like Etsy and also stand to make a good chunk of profit. So if you find a t-shirt maybe that is going to be $15 on the manufacturing site and you're thinking you can maybe sell it for around $20 on Etsy, once you get past all the fees, all the cost, all those taxes, you're really going to be left with virtually just cents of profit on that sale when you try to sell it for $20. However, if you find items that are a lot closer to maybe that $10 range and then you're pricing it above $20, you're going to have a really healthy amount of room to make at least $5 profit on each sale, which is what I personally aim for every single time I make a sale. Now, the partner I definitely recommend integrating with, if you've never heard of them before, is called Printify. That is who I personally use for my print-on-demand shops. They are one of the biggest print manufacturing partners. They have really, really low priced items and they're super high quality, and they pretty much have any kind of item you want to sell. So say you wanted to do t-shirts or mugs, sweatshirts, even things like notebooks and tote bags, they have those. So I definitely recommend using them as your manufacturing partner because they truly are some of the lowest prices you're going to find out there. I will link all their information down below if you do want to get started with them. They are totally free to use as your manufacturing partner. And to piggyback right off of that, one of the other mistakes that I see a lot of people making is simply not knowing how much profit they are making on every single sale. So there are a lot of hidden fees and things that you're going to be paying for when you are selling on a platform like Etsy. So sometimes people just see, okay, this cost $10, I'm going to sell it for $20, I'm making $10 profit. But that's simply not the case. There is so much more that goes into it when it comes to the fee that Etsy is going to take out, the listing fees, and all those other things. So you really need to have a way to calculate the true cost of what your item is going to be. Now, I have a full tutorial on how to make sure you're making a lot of profit with each sale. That's going to show you a calculator to use to figure that out. So I definitely recommend checking that out too. Now, the next big mistake I see a ton of print-on-demand sellers making when they first get started is not taking advantage of selling on multiple different platforms. Now, this is one tip that I really think I can credit with really growing my print-on-demand business and profits really early on. In my first month, I was able to make several $100s because I was trying to sell on multiple different places instead of just one. So this definitely can be overwhelming when you first get started. So there's nothing wrong with starting on one platform 1 month and then the next month getting onto another one and adding it so you have maybe 3 or 4 platforms that you're selling on. But the reason I think this is a really good idea is because maybe you're only making $100 a month when you first get started. Now, that's not a ton of money. It's not necessarily life-changing. It's still amazing. But say that you make $100 on 5 different platforms and now you're making $500 a month. That really can make a big difference when it comes to the things that you're able to fit in your budget, making a little bit of extra income like that on the side. So I think by selling on multiple different platforms, you are just opening up the possibilities of the types of customers you are able to be seen by and attract. And The nice thing is you've already done the research to figure out what is a good niche, to make the design, to figure out what kind of keywords to include in your title and description. So all the really hard part has already been done if you're selling on one platform. And so it's really minimal effort to use that exact same design and put it on multiple different places. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't even know you can do, but you can have the same design on multiple different platforms. So the ones I typically recommend are going to be Etsy integrated with a manufacturing partner like Printify, Merch by Amazon if you can get on that program, something like Redbubble, TeePublic, and Zazzle are all really great places to start. But definitely my first choice is going to be either Etsy or Amazon if you can sell on one of those platforms. Now, one of the next huge mistakes that I see so many new sellers making, and even some sellers who have been trying to work this business for a long time are still making this mistake, and that is trying to only sell copies of best-selling trending designs. Now, one of the ways that a lot of people do print on demand and have a lot of success is seeing what is selling well, maybe through a research tool or just by observing what is ranked really highly on places like Etsy and Amazon. So say you see a really trendy Valentine's Day shirt that says something like "Pizza is my Valentine" with maybe a pizza graphic on it. And then you think, okay, this is trending really well. I am just going to make my own version of this. And you pretty much do the exact same thing. You use a really similar font, you use a very similar graphic, you set it up in the exact same way, and you upload it to a site like Amazon or Etsy. Now, because that other shirt has already been there a long time and it's already been validated with a ton of sales, it's ranked really high, when someone searches a phrase like "funny Valentine shirt," or even if they search "pizza is my Valentine," chances are they're going to go with the one that is showing up higher because it's been there longer and it has a lot of sales. They're probably not even going to scroll to those last pages to look at yours. So what I definitely recommend is when you do your research and you're finding those trending designs, always try and see how you can reinterpret that somehow. So maybe you saw that like pizza and Valentine's Day designs are trending. See how you can reinterpret that and make something a little bit different or new. Maybe the design is just different. Maybe the whole phrase is going to be different. Or you see that "Pizza is my Valentine" is selling well, so then you think, okay, I'm going to try and do something else like that and maybe do like "Sushi is my Valentine" or "Donuts are my Valentine," and just kind of reinterpret it in your own way and do something slightly different that can make you stand out against all those other shirts that are the exact same phrase. This is a strategy I've used over and over again to really scale my business. I research and find what's doing well and see how I can put my own twist on it and do something that nobody else is. A lot of times the people that can just do the research and then put their own twist on it are the ones that have a ton of success in this business model. So it's definitely something you don't want to skip out on. Now, one of the next big mistakes that I see so many new print on demand sellers making that's leading them to actually lose their account or get banned from platforms is not trademark checking everything that they are trying to sell. So a lot of times we do research and we find designs that are trending and we're just like, okay, I'm going to sell that phrase. Somebody else is doing it, so it must be safe. But that's not necessarily always the case. A lot of people try to game the system and get around things to sell phrases that are owned by somebody else. And so if you try to do this, you are definitely putting your account at risk. Now, there is a free site that I always use to trademark check. It's called the Trademark Electronic Search System. You can simply Google that and it's going to come up for you. And it's going to allow you to just put a phrase in. It's going to let you know if there is a live trademark out for that and if it's safe for you to use. I have a whole video on keeping your account safe. I will link that here too. But there are so many phrases, even really common ones, that you would not think are actually trademarked, but they are not free to use. Now, the other thing that I see a lot of people doing is they're like, okay, I know that I can't just flat out sell things from movies, I can't sell Disney items, I can't sell Marvel stuff, but they're like, what if I put like a little twist on it, if I make my own versions of stuff? So I'm not exactly copying Disney, but I'm making stuff inspired by Disney. And this can get really risky. If you are trying to cash in on the name recognition of any other brand, this is really kind of gray area, and I definitely would not recommend this. There are tons of Etsy stores that they really grow super fast in their first month because they are trying to capitalize on something like Disney properties, but then those quickly get shut down. And a lot of places have like a 3-strike policy that once you violate enough things, you're going to be banned completely from the platform. So my philosophy is, even though you might grow a little slower, we want to be creating businesses that are not just here today, but in 5 years, they can still be providing us income. So it's always important to make sure everything that you are selling is 100% safe. Nobody owns the rights to it. Now, one of the next big mistakes that I see a ton of sellers making, especially if they are selling with a manufacturing partner like Printify, is not creating their own mock-ups. So anytime you are selling on a platform, they are typically going to give you some kind of auto-generated mock-up, but they simply just aren't super engaging. They typically don't make the clothes look super flattering. We can't see them in an environment. And a lot of times, tons of people are just using that exact same mock-up as you because it's the free, easy one to use. So a huge mistake is not making your own mock-ups. Now, this can be really daunting to a lot of people because maybe they don't know how to make mock-ups. It's easy. They think to use just those free ones. They think it's going to be time consuming to make their own mock-ups, but you are really leaving a ton of money on the table if you aren't making mock-ups that are really going to stand out and catch people's eye. If we can't get people to click on that small thumbnail of an image when they are searching for something to buy, we're never going to make a sale. So mock-ups can truly be the most important thing from making a successful shop or a not successful shop. So this is something you definitely want to invest time into. Now, the tool that I have used for a long time is called Place It. It's a subscription service where you have access to their catalog of thousands and thousands of different mock-up photos that are really easy to use. They auto format all the mock-ups. So all you have to do is pick the mock-up you want. You're going to put the design in there and it's just going to auto format it to look like it's actually kind of moving with the person and it's not just sitting flat right there. But I have definitely found that mock-ups with really beautiful backgrounds or with a person in them kind of cropped right below the face are what sells really, really well. People want to know they are buying a real item. So the more real we can make this mock-up look, the better it is going to do. So if you haven't been thinking about your mock-ups, if you've not been spending a lot of time on them, just reevaluate them, and just changing your mock-ups to be better ones can make a huge difference to your shop. So if you're not getting sales, that definitely could be something you want to take a look at. I'll also Place It down below for you guys. Now, one of the next huge mistakes that I see so many sellers making is not using any kind of research tool to figure out what is going to sell really, really well. Now, there are tons of different ways that you can do research in this business. And one of them that people try to do is just going on sites like Etsy and Amazon and just scrolling through bestsellers to see what they can find and sell for themselves. But this can become really time consuming and you can truly waste a lot of time doing this method. So I've always found that it's super helpful to have some kind of tool that is going to take that data for you and present it to you in a really easy to understand way that's going to help you find bestsellers super fast. The first tool that I ever really invested in and used is actually called Merch Informer, and they're going to basically show you what are best sellers and what are trending designs and great niches to sell for Amazon products. However, even if you're not on Amazon, it still can be a really good tool because Amazon is pretty much the biggest e-commerce marketplace. So if something is doing well there, it's typically going to do well everywhere else too. I'll have them linked below. But I also use an Etsy specific research tool as well called Sales Samurai that's going to give you a lot more help with things like SEO and keywords, as well as finding really good products and niches. So I'll also link that down below with a coupon code too. And if you didn't know, I actually have a newsletter every single Wednesday that has 5 of the top trending niches for that week. So if you haven't signed up for that before, it's totally free and I don't spam your inbox at all. I just send one email every single week with some of those top niches and some other print on demand trends and tips that I'm seeing that I think would be helpful for you guys. Now, another huge mistake I see a lot of new sellers making is trying to sell only t-shirts in their shop. Now, t-shirts really are a huge bestseller for me. They are what has built tons of people's print-on-demand businesses, but there is so much money to be made in other products, and sometimes those are a lot less competitive. So if you want some really great ideas of what to create a shop around, I definitely recommend watching this video next with some of the best products that are kind of outside the box that can really make you a ton of profit. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.